Hey, Black Belt reads. It's been a little while since I've done a wrap up. This will be pretty much what I read during spring. We're officially into summertime. I'm reading some summer themed books right now. It's been great. Let's talk about what I got done during the springtime. I've got 6 books, 4 physical books, and 2 audiobooks. So let's get right into it. So I mentioned when I read Fight Club that I wanted to read all of Chuck Palahniuk's books, or at least start reading through his books in chronological order, and maybe find some hidden gems in there because everyone knows about Fight Club, and I had never really heard anything about any of his other books. For instance, Survivor. This is his second published book. I had never even heard of it. Never heard anybody say anything about it. Never heard it mentioned. I don't know. Maybe I'm just in the wrong circles there, but I picked it up and I read Survivor. So, did I like it as much as Fight Club? No, definitely not. I didn't dislike the book. I didn't not like it, but it definitely didn't quite hit me the way Fight Club did. Maybe that's why I've never heard of it. I don't know. It's about a guy who kind of survives a cult. So he's in this cult since he's a little kid and he grows up, and it's got a lot of very similar things to Fight Club. It's got the same sort of style. His writing is almost like robotic. It just seems like almost like a computer wrote the book, the way the dialogue and everything. It's very strange. I'm curious to see if all of his books are going to be like that because this was very similar to Fight Club. Yeah, I mean, he does have a very interesting style of writing, and a lot of really weird things happen. This is a very dark book. It's kind of funny at times. I just didn't really love, anything that happened in the book. Uh, this guy survives a cult. He's working in a suicide prevention hotline thing where you call in, and they help you if you're thinking of committing suicide. So, one part that stuck out to me, he's with this girl, and they kind of go on like a date, I guess, or they just meet each other, and he really likes her. Well, she calls into the suicide hotline. He knows it's her. She doesn't know it's him. And she starts talking about this date that she had with this guy, and it's him. She doesn't know it's him. And she's just totally ragging on him, calling him ugly, fat, loser, and all these things. And it's just like, oh man, it's brutal. It's absolutely brutal. This book goes to some pretty dark places. I'd give it like 3 stars. I didn't hate it by any means. 3 stars for me is like I would, you know, not necessarily recommend it to anybody else, but I didn't dislike it. All right, moving along. So after I read Survivor, I decided it's way past time. I need to jump back onto Red Rising. I read Red Rising a couple years ago. Last year I did Golden Sun, and Golden Sun ended on such a wild cliffhanger, kind of like Empire Strikes Back, where your hero is, they lose. He's captured by the enemy. Uh, it was hard not to immediately pick up book 3, but I wanted to try to read like one a year, trying to spread myself thin here and not just blaze through certain things. Morning Star. This is like the conclusion to the first 3 books, so it's kind of like the original Red Rising trilogy. I know there's more books now. I have picked them up. Um, Very excited to get to them. Morning Star it was amazing. It was incredible. I really, really loved it. There are some absolutely gut wrenching moments in this book. Like, there's a couple of times where this book made me put it down and just go, "What the hell did I just read? How is that happening?" It's such a page turner. I literally finished this book so fast I couldn't stop reading it. The pacing is just insane. I mean, from start to finish, I never wanted to put the book down. The pacing is just mind blowing. It just keeps going and going and going. Even during the slow moments, it's paced so well. I mean, I just absolutely tore through this thing. If you haven't checked out the Red Rising books, they're really popular for a reason. The first book was really good. I liked it a lot, but then the second book was even better, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm onto something here. Book three, I don't know if it was better than book two. I think it was. I feel like they do get better and better and better. This has some really, really memorable moments. I don't want to spoil anything, but it does, end what would be like the trilogy. So if you didn't read any of the other books, this is a perfect place to jump off. But why would you stop here? There's more books. I'm definitely going to get to them at some point. Morning Star by Pierce Brown. Okay, this is going to seem really strange. After the devastation of Morning Star, I mean, there were some moments in that book that were like so depressing. Of characters that you love, bad things happen to these people. I decided I would try to read something a little more light, a little bit different than what I usually do. Usually I'm reading really dark, heavy stuff. But one thing that I've been reading is Cradle. So I've read the first, I think, 7 Cradle books and loved them. They just get better and better and better. So I was looking for something else like that. And I came across Beware of Chicken. It doesn't seem like something I would normally like. Uh, I really don't know why I decided to jump on it. I needed a light-hearted audiobook. Um, so a couple things. The audiobook is narrated by Travis Baldree, and I had heard he's the guy that does the Cradle audiobooks. I'm not doing Cradle in audiobook, I'm reading Cradle, so but I kept hearing that he does an amazing job on the audiobooks, and I saw that this book was narrated by him, and it had lots of really high glowing reviews. So people say if you like Cradle, you'll like this. It's like a lighter version of that, not like a lesser version, but just lighter, like happier, I gotta say, Beware of Chicken is really good. It's really, really good. It's beautiful. There's some beautiful moments. It's funny. It's actually really funny. It's got very, very adult humor, which I didn't expect. I was a little thrown off actually by all the f bombs and everything in the book. Um, I guess I was thinking it was going to be almost like a YA book or something. No, it's not at all. It's very dark. There's death and sex and violence, and yes, there is a chicken. So this is a novel about a cultivator. So a cultivator is someone that can harness their chi, their spirit energy, their life's energy. Just think of like Tai Chi, like moving your energy through your body or something, but in a fantasy setting to where these guys basically just have superpowers. So our main character is kind of thrust into this world that is unfamiliar to him, and he doesn't actually even realize how powerful he is. So he just wants to be a farmer. That's all he wants to do. He doesn't want to fight. He doesn't want any of the martial art BS, no battles. He just wants to go live a peaceful life and be a farmer. But of course, things just keep happening to him. What's really weird is his farm animals, they start to become sentient in a way, namely the title Chicken. This chicken. So he named his chicken Big D. That's the kind of humor. It's very like 12-year-old boy humor in a lot of ways. But after a while, I actually thought it was really funny. There were some pretty funny moments in it. So his chicken, Big D, um, yeah, he becomes sentient in a way. Like he can understand and kind of communicate with you, not through words, but through gestures. And he's extremely powerful. Anyway, the book is actually really good. It's a series. There's several of them. So now I'm like, dang, I don't know that I really wanted to start a whole other series, but here we are. I would highly recommend Beware of Chicken. Okay, so what else happened during the springtime? Well, we had May 4th. So I'm a huge Star Wars geek. Uh, so Star Wars Day, May the 4th be with you. Kind of funny. But yeah, I always try to do something Star Wars related. I wanted to make a Star Wars video, but nobody really watched my last Star Wars video, and I didn't feel real inspired at the moment. But I did read a book. Um, I started this on May the 4th, and it took me about a week, maybe 2 weeks. Into the Dark by Claudia Gray. So this is basically book 2 in the High Republic. This is technically considered a YA novel. That didn't scare me away. I don't mind reading YA. I read like all of Brandon Sanderson's YA stuff. I liked it. I actually liked it. So I don't mind reading YA. I grew up reading this stuff, like Harry Potter. Would you consider that YA? I grew up reading that stuff. So it doesn't mean that the book is like for children. It just means that the book is following young adults. It's following teenagers. So it's sort of tailored to teenagers. This is the High Republic, hundreds of years before the Phantom Menace, before the prequel Star Wars movies. The Jedi are at the peak of their power, their influence, everything. When we see the movies start, the Jedi are falling in favor, and of course, completely get wiped out and all that stuff. But in this book, the Jedi are very prominent. This follows a Padawan who is kind of a bookish nerd like me. He doesn't really want to go explore or get in lightsaber fights or anything. He kind of just wants to study and meditate and kind of nerdy, like read books and stuff. Yeah, I can relate. I like the violent side of martial arts is a good way to let off some steam and stuff. But if I had to choose, usually I choose to just sit down and read a book. So I can relate to the main character, in that way. His name's Wreath. I'm assuming that's supposed to be Wreath. So, Light of the Jedi, you get introduced to the Nile. The Nile are like these barbarian space pirates, kind of. Very interesting. You wouldn't think that is like what the High Republic was going to be about. It's not the Sith. It's just dudes, regular guys that happen to have some technology that makes them very formidable. This deals with the Nile a little bit, but the real threat in the book is actually a new enemy, and it's plants. It is the Drengir. They're sentient plants. Think like Swamp Thing. They can talk and take on a humanoid shape, but they're super evil and they just want to eat humans, basically. So the Jedi have to fight these things. Well, they've got lightsabers. That's awesome. When you chop one of these things in half, it just grows right back. So they can't be killed, seemingly. Yeah, it makes for an interesting battle. There's a lot of really heavy stuff happening. There's death. There's loss, grief. So it's a YA book, but you're dealing with really heavy themes. Overall, I gave the book 3 stars, just like Survivor. I did not like it. I enjoyed reading it, but unlike Morningstar, I never wanted to put Morningstar down. I couldn't stop reading it. I always wanted to pick it up and never wanted to put it down. This was different. This and Survivor, I avoided. That's when it took me like 2 weeks to read it because I just kept avoiding it. I wasn't really hooked on it. I told myself that I was going to read just the core stuff from the High Republic. So the adult novels, the YA novels, and the comics. There's a lot of other stuff thrown in there. There's like audiobooks and children's books and all kinds of stuff. I'm just going to do the adult novels, the YA novels, and the comics. So the adult novel was amazing. I loved Light of the Jedi. This, not so much, but the next one will be an adult novel, so we'll see if that blows me away. Maybe I'll drop the YA novels. I don't know. I've already bought the first few, so. This was my first book by Claudia Gray, and I have heard that she is one of the go-to Star Wars authors nowadays. So the writing was fine. There was one character in particular that I really, really loved. It's so weird. It's a rock. So Wreath and his crew get a ride on a ship to go out into a station in space. One of the crew members is a rock. His name's Geode, and he is a sentient rock alien. But it's weird because, he doesn't talk, he doesn't move, he doesn't have a face. He's just a rock. But the crew talks about him as if he's just like a regular guy. But they mention like things that he's done or how he would react to things, but then you look over and he's just a rock. So it's kind of like a comedic break in the novel. It's really, really funny, actually. I enjoyed that. I liked all the characters in the book. Just the plot, it seemed very long and just sort of like it was dragged out. Maybe this could have been 100 pages less or something. Maybe that's just me. But yeah, Into the Dark. All right, a couple more. So I'll talk just very, very briefly. Anacarina. This was my big, big novel that I've been working on for months. I did a whole video about it, so if you care at all, you can go watch that video. But yeah, finally read Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy, one of the big classics, one of the considered all-time greatest books, and I really, really enjoyed it. Gave it 4 stars. I enjoyed it a lot after reading it, thinking about it. These old books have a tendency to make me think deeply about them while I'm reading it, and especially afterwards, where something like Into the Dark, I mean, once I read it, I kind of just forgot a lot of it because it didn't really stick with me. This is a book that will definitely stick with me for a long time. I think about the characters still daily. And yeah, you're also, I mean, this is like an 800-page book. I was with them for so long. I've been reading this book for so long. So sometimes it's hard to say goodbye, when you've been with these characters for so long. But yeah, I did a whole video about it, so go check it out if you care about my thoughts on Anna Karenina. All right, last one. It's a very short audiobook. Stephen Graham Jones, Night of the Mannequins. I've read like 4 Stephen Graham Jones books now, and I've liked all of them. So when I saw that this was available on Audible, I started it, and it actually surprised me. It went to some places that I did not expect. It has a twist ending. Now, when I say I didn't expect it, I wasn't sure what I was getting into, and was surprised at where it went. But as far as the twist is concerned, I definitely saw it coming. I did see it coming. I'm not always the best at that, but this is one particular instance where I did see the twist coming. It didn't take away my enjoyment at all because I felt validated when it happened. So a group of kids find a mannequin and they start to dress it up and make it do pranks like sitting in a chair in a dark room, so when their parents come home it's like there, and they scares the parents. Putting it in the car, throwing it off the bridge, think of like Jackass or something, like stunts with the mannequin. And they have a lot of fun with this thing and eventually sort of forget about it, and it just gets left in one of the kids' garages for a long time. Well, then things start to get a little weird. Supernatural. The mannequin is killing people. There is a lot of really, really gruesome death scenes in this book. Um, I'm trying really hard not to spoil anything. All I will say is it's very short. It's definitely worth the time to listen to this or to read it. I will definitely pick up a physical copy if I see one on sale because I enjoyed it. I would read it again, even knowing the twist at the end. Yeah, man, Stephen Graham Jones. I'm not really sure why people are so torn about him because I've really enjoyed everything that I've read by him so far. All right, that wraps up my novels that I've read for springtime, spring 2025. I'll do a whole video about comics. I actually have a lot of comic books and graphic novels that I read. So let me know if you read anything on this list, and should I keep going with Chuck Palahniuk? Should I keep going with the High Republic? I definitely will. Just, maybe somebody could encourage me to continue a little faster because I feel like I don't really want to continue with it right now. All right, let me know. Thanks, guys. See ya.